So I did some reading up on this massacre that took place in Russia. A bunch of terrorists slit the throat of a priest. They attacked two churches. They also attacked a synagogue. And they also murdered a lot of police officers. And so I wanted to know who were the gunmen. And what I found out was that amongst the terrorists were the two sons of a regional politician by the name of Magomed Omorov. And it says here in this Russian publication called Life that among the terrorists, the sons of the head of the Sergokalinsky district of Dagestan, Magomed Omorov, Osman, and Adel Omorov, were identified. His home was searched, as it turned out later when security forces detained Omorov. The militants fired at the operative's car in the Sergokalinsky district and tried to recapture him. It is possible that it was the head of the district who led the militant cell. So I did some reading up on Mr. Magomed Omorov, and it turns out that he was in the banking business for years. He worked for a very nefarious bank by the name of Bank Elbin, which was caught several times being involved with dirty money, either used by terrorists or used by criminals. And so in 2018, Bank Elbin was deprived of its license by the Central Bank of the Russian Federation. And so I am wondering if a conspiracy is at hand here, and if there is a conspiracy, what would be the motivation behind orchestrating such a massacre? Well, if NATO is indeed behind this, what would be the motivation? And if I had to guess, the motivation would be to destabilize Russia. To have non-Muslim Russians hate Muslim Russians, and to get them to kill each other in order to escalate a civil war within the Russian Federation, the likes of which took place back in the 1990s, known as the Chechen War, the Russian Chechen War. And there was a war between the Russian government and Chechen and Dagestani jihadis back in the 1990s. And so it's obvious that NATO wouldn't mind another civil war breaking out within the Russian Federation between Muslims and non-Muslims in order to weaken the Russian Federation, because a civil war within Russia would greatly diminish Russian advancement within Ukraine. And I want to quote to you guys the State Duma deputy, Abdulhakim Gadziev. And this is what he had to say, quote, "Against the backdrop of the successes of our troops in the northern military district zone, this is an attempt to shake up the situation in our country from the inside." So Mr. Abdulhakim Gadziev, who is a State Duma deputy, he himself has said that this is a conspiracy in order to weaken Russia's military advancement within Ukraine. And I think that that makes sense. I'm not saying that it's 100% true, but it would not surprise me at all if this was indeed a NATO-orchestrated scheme. Anyway, you guys just heard some theology. God bless.